the second chapter of chemistry, that is in section 1, and that is about solutions. So to start with, what do you mean by solutions? Solution is basically a homogeneous mixture. When you talk about solution, the first thing which you need to say is homogeneous solution. Now whenever I use the word homogeneous, homo means what? Same. Genus means what? Phase. So it is homogeneous. Next thing what we need to say is it is a mixture. Now whenever we use the word mixture, that means it's common, it's made up of two or more substances. And that is nothing but it's a solution. Okay, so once again I repeat, what is a solution is? It is a homogeneous mixture containing, that means one phase, and it is made up of either two, okay, कम से कम दो या फिर उससे ज़्यादा substances. Okay, उसे हम लोग बोलते हैं solutions. Now, whenever I talk about a solution, it is basically made up of two components. Okay, दो हिस्सा है solution का. I'm not talking about substances, my dear friends. I'm using the word components. So, whenever we say about the component part, that means we also use the word parts. So, there are two of them. First one, that is, we call it as a solute. And the second one, we call it as a solvent. These are the two components. Every solution is made up of two components. Fixed. Substances can be many, but the components are always fixed, that is two. जब solute की बात करते हैं हम लोग, तो generally we say solute is a minor component. Okay, generally we say solute क्या है? वो एक minor component है. And the other thing is वो खुद dissolve हो जाता है. So that means it gets dissolved. When we talk about a solvent, solvent is a major component. बड़ा हिस्सा है वो solution का. So it's a major component. And because it is a major component, therefore what we say is it has an ability to dissolve the solute. Alright? So, once again a briefing part. Solution is made up of two components. Solute, solvent. Generally, solute minor component में है, solvent is major component. At the same time, it has an ability to get dissolved. Okay, solute itself gets dissolved. Whereas solvent, it is having an ability to dissolve the solute. Okay, so mixing of both these components gives you nothing but what? Solution. Okay, so that is what the introduction part is about. That is first point is, कि solution क्या है? Yes, it's a homogeneous mixture. Mixture बोलेंगे, so at least two substances. It can be more than that also. And जब component की बात करेंगे, so that means they are always two. One, a minor component, the other is major component. Minor solute, major solvent. Alright? Next thing is, now when we do a relative comparison between the solute and the solvent, so we have a different type of solution also. Okay, depending upon the relative concentrations of. Okay, relative means आपको समझता है? Relative मतलब in comparison. So whenever we talk about the relative concentration, concentration can be written in the symbol of like this, square bracket. Okay, so the relative concentration of the solute and the solvent results in two types of solution. एक, we call it as a dilute solution. And the second one we call it as a concentrated solution. Okay, one is a dilute solution, the other is a concentrated solution. One thing you please remember, that solute generally remains in a minor component, solvent generally remains in a major component. But we are just finding out a relative concentration. So whenever we use the word dilute, so that means here we say that the solvent is in excess, is in large amount. मेजर कंपोनेंट तो है ही, लेकिन ये मेजर से भी ज्यादा प्रमाण में हो जाएगा, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी यूज द वर्ड व्हाट, इट इज इन एक्सेस. और यहां पर हम बोलेंगे कि whenever we talk about a concentrated solution, we say that the solvent is slightly lesser, not with respect to the solute. Please be very clear. Okay, solvent solute से ज़्यादा ही रहता है, लेकिन comparatively speaking we say, that means I'm going to compare it with a dilute solution. What am I going to say is the amount of the solvent or the concentration of the solvent is less. Here we say the concentration of the solvent is excess. So the solution is dilute, and here we say the solution is concentrated. Or in other words, we will say that in this case, dilute solution, whenever we say the amount of the solute is very, very less. Okay, the concentration of the solute is less. यहाँ पर the concentration of the solute is high. Okay, and therefore we use the word concentrate. Okay. Generally speaking, solute is minor component, solvent is major component. तो याद रखिएगा, whenever we use the word concentration, जब भी solution का concentration consider करना है, so we always talk in terms of what? Solute, which is the minor component. And accordingly, we have used this word. Okay, so that's why I told you कि dilute है, तो we say that is the solution is in, the solute is in lesser amount. Concentrated है, तो we say the amount of the solute is going to be in higher amount. Alright, so this becomes the introduction part about what do you mean by a solution. Now we go ahead. Now as I told you, solution is always made up of two components, always, and that is a solute and the solvent. Now this solute and the solvent can be present in any of the three phases. You know, my dear friends, what are those three phases are? Solid, liquid and gas. And therefore, what we'd say is, okay, total we will be having 9 types of solutions. Try to understand now. I already discussed with you all one type of solution that was based on the relative concentration. And on that basis, we have two types, dilute and concentrated. But now what am I going to talk about is based on the physical state of the solute as well as solvent. Okay, so I hope you understood the basis of classification differs. So in this particular basis of classification, where we talk about the physical states, so we start with, okay, as I told you, the solute and the solvent can be in any of the phases. Okay, that means solid, liquid as well as a gas. So to start off with, the very first part which we talk about is, total there are 9 of them. So I'll write down over here the serial number. Okay, that means we go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Next part is, we talk about the nature of the solute. Next is, we talk about the nature of the solvent. Okay, whenever I use the word nature, please be very clear, my dear friends. I am talking about with respect to the physical state. Next, we talk about the nature of the solution. And the last one is, we talk about example. Alright, so with this particular headings, we now start with the different types. The first type is solute is solid, the solvent is also solid. Now remember one thing is, whenever I talk about the nature of the solution, nature of the solution is based on the nature of the solvent. Why is it so? Because as I told you, generally speaking, solvent is in a major proportion. That's why. So in this particular case, as you can see, the nature of the solvent is solid, and therefore we say the nature of the solution is also solid. And here I would like to give an example, a very simple example. Everybody will relate to this, and that is alloy. What is an alloy? It's a mixture of two or more chemical elements. At least one of them must be a metal. कम से कम एक मेटल होना ज़रूरी है, और कितने भी नॉन मेटल्स हो सकते हैं, लेकिन कम से कम एक नॉन मेटल होना के साथ साथ मेटल होना ज़रूरी है.